I'm Lee Jordan, Executive Director of the Verona Area Chamber of Commerce, and I would like to thank you all for coming out on this very beautiful, snowy Wisconsin day. We're thrilled that you came out and joined us. We had several people ask if we were going to cancel, and I said, "Are you new to Wisconsin?" Put on your boots, let's go. But be safe. But thank you for coming out, and I would like to thank Resurrection Lutheran Church for hosting us. And I would like to at this time introduce Pastor Paul to tell you a little bit about their facility. I mean, isn't this a beautiful room? I mean, it's wonderful. We should have all of our events. Pastor Paul.
Just an extreme thank you to everybody for listening very carefully to the people that were shoveling out there, not running them over and parking in the lines. That was good of you. No, really, in all appreciation to thank all of you for coming out here to our space. We've been in the community for 25 years. We celebrated our 25th anniversary in 2024, and we are very thankful to have you here. We realized that we had not had a Verona Chamber event here, even though Nathan Strutz was president of the board for a while, and he helped out with Lee Jordan, I believe. And we wanted to have you here. We wanted to create a space for you so that you can learn all about our great city and all of the amazing things that are going on. And our church is part of this community, and we are very proud of it, and we're very thankful for all of you. So thank you for being here. Maybe just a couple of housekeeping things. Certainly garbage there in the back as you go out. If you go out toward the doors, exit, turn to the left, the bathrooms, coat rack, everything's down that way. Feel free to make yourself at home here. And again, if you need anything, please ask me. Katrina in the back there, happy to help you out as well. And also I have an intern here, Ethan Prince, he was also shoveling today. Let's give him a little round of applause.
Thank you. And I'd also like to thank Michaela from Texas Roadhouse for our awesome lunch today, for catering in. She's done a great job, and I think she's originally from Texas, and this may be her second winter here, so we're definitely, holding her feet to the fire with that. I'd also like to start off with a special thanks to all of our presenters today: Mayor Luke Diaz, City Administrator Jamie Aulik, City Planner Lucas Sivertsen. Close enough? Okay. And from the school district, Superintendent Dr. Tremayne Clardy, Deputy Superintendent Chad Wiese. Did I get that one right? Wiese. Okay. Hey, this is why they don't put me on national television. And then also from the town of Verona, the town chair, is that the correct title? For Mark Geller. So I appreciate that. Did I miss anyone? I don't think so. Right now, we would normally start off with our welcome video and a few things, but we're going to change the order a little bit. We're flexible usually, so we're going to start off with the school district today so that they can get on their way and get all those children home from school safely, and the bus is going with all the snow. So I'll turn it over to Dr. Clardy, or Dr. Clardy, are you coming up first? Okay.
I'm Dr. Tremayne Clardy, and I am extremely proud and most importantly humbled to be able to stand before you as the superintendent for the Verona Area School District. I can't tell you how proud I am every time I say that title and that name, and be able to represent the city of Verona, the city of Fitchburg, and all our surrounding municipalities to say, just to be able to work in this community with our groups of people, with our amazing staff, and most importantly you, our partners. It is just a pleasure, and it's a lifelong dream come true. You've seen me write about many times, just to be able to be such a warm, welcoming community that also cherishes and really appreciates the value of public education. And so I never ever want to take that for granted, what that means for our organization. We're going to open up today with a very short video, just kind of give you a snapshot into the Verona Area School District, and then I'll follow it up with a key presentation. So hold on, if you see one of your children or neighbors or family members in our community, hopefully you see some smiles on your faces and a shout out. But anytime we can serve our 6,000 students and our 1,000 staff members, we're extremely proud of that.
We all support each other. We are supported. It's just an amazing place to work and to be a part of.
So for today's very brief presentation, my focus today is going to be on three main areas, and that includes who the Verona Area School District serves, safety in our schools, which you know has been a hot topic across our society and very, very close to us personally with some of the recent tragedies locally, and then planning for our future. As we continuously want to improve and get better as an organization and be innovative in our thinking, we want to know, have a better understanding what that means for all of us. I'm very proud to be led by a 7-member Board of Education. I would like to take our opportunity to introduce one of our board members that's here today with us, supporting us, Mr. Christopher Figueroa. Thank you for being here today. When I tell you the Board of Educations matter, they matter in the sense of how we lead and do policy and practice, but also as advocates in your voice in the community as elected officials. I couldn't ask for a better group of 7 to be able to partner with on a daily basis to ensure that our students, families, and staff get everything they need to thrive in a diverse global society. So as we think about our equity framework, and I'm just going to put it into this space, I understand, and just presented on this 2 weeks ago at the state conference, that the word equity has been used in different ways recently. But I will just clearly state before you our stance, and it will always be that we will embrace equity in the appropriate way. And embrace it, that means that every student gets what they need and what they deserve, regardless of the demographic makeup, and do that in a responsible and meaningful manner. We're unapologetic in that stance, and that will not change for the Verona Area School District. So as you think about that in terms of our mission is to make sure that every student is able to thrive and achieve their personal goals in a diverse global society. No matter what we know or think, the fact of the matter is we are the most diverse global society that has ever existed in society, and we need to be able to educate our students in a way that acknowledges and appreciates each of our unique differences, but also celebrates what we do when we come together. You just saw in our video our 6 areas of our strategic framework. Sometimes you see strategic frameworks that just kind of end up dusty on the shelf, and we do not do that in the Verona Area School District. Everything that you see there is meaningful and intentional on how we lead and how we work. We work with all 5 of our categories collectively together, not separate, knowing that we cannot function without any of those elements. Maybe newer to this work has really been our focus on wellness and mental health and the resources that our students need to be able to drive, as well as our staff as well, and making sure that they have all the resources that they need and supports. All right. So how do we do this? When we get to our data and are able to celebrate the significant growth in the Verona Area School District, there's always a method behind it. And that method is really focusing intentionally on disciplinary literacy. Across every content area, we focus on literacy very deeply. We understand that there was a recent bill in Act 20 that was passed, and you see that we are ahead in that growth because we began these practices the year before the bill was even passed. Understand that you can't really function in our classrooms without deep literacy skills. We do that by putting grade level and above standards in front of every single child. And then, as many of you know as parents and as community members, every single Monday, you give us the gift of time by allowing us those 2-hour later starts, and our staff are together working diligently and understanding all the work and practicing collaboration on behalf of the students. That is dedicated time for collaboration where we look at student work, we look at data, and we understand how all our students are performing, and we make adjustments as such. So we're using that time very importantly, but also respectfully, in knowing that the community allowing us to do that is what's allowing us to be able to grow as fast as we are in terms of our academic progress. I want to acknowledge, the very broad boundaries to which we serve. We're here at the Verona Chamber event, but also as Verona School District. These are all the municipalities that we serve. When you look at it from a map perspective, you probably have an idea of why we get also concerned about busing and the things that we need to be able to leave for in a second, because we cover the townships, the main cities, some urban, some rural, and some suburban. So we are a very broad school district. Our demographic makeup continues to get more diverse, and we are proud of that. We're proud of the diversity of our student body. We're proud of the diversity of our staff makeup, and we do that intentionally because we have built a welcoming place where students feel they can belong and they can thrive in our schools. When I show this number on top, I usually get this amazing 57 languages spoken in the Verona School District. That's a huge celebration to know that we can serve students from around our globe and be able to provide supports and education to many. We have schools that specifically work in immersion in 3 languages, obviously English, but we also have Mandarin immersion, and we also have Spanish immersion. When you think about those language skills that you can take anywhere across the globe, that means something to be able to not just be able to work here in Dane County, but work anywhere on our planet. About a quarter of our students receive our free and reduced supports, and then about 9% of our population receives additional services through our special education with IEPs, which are individual educational plans. So, what has the work been? We started this journey about 4 years ago. This is the 4th year as superintendent. This is a credit to our staff, though, a credit to our team, and a credit to our board. In the short 4 years we started, we were ranking at number 47 in the state. We've continuously grown, and now we sit at number 14 ranked school district in the state of Wisconsin out of 421. So that is a huge celebration, but it's you can bet your bottom dollar, if anyone's in here, we're still going after Middleton. Trust me. I can't handle it. They're serving their students well too, but they got a little competition on their border now. I'll tell you that. All right. I want to transition into school safety, and what you see here is representation of a student advisory. We're proud to have a student advisory that really informs me on their specific needs of students. This is a group of students from grades 6 through 12 across our campuses, and while I love every day with adults, we all do this for the kids, and be able to share these experiences with our kids on a monthly basis. And if you ever want just facts, ask a teenager. And they'll tell you exactly what they need in the moment, and they do it. They are not always politically correct, and then sometimes that's okay. Sometimes they just want to hear facts. And I really appreciate this group for doing that. When we got on this topic of school safety, we really adjusted our programming, and some of the ways that we communicated that these came straight from the mouths of our students. What they really wanted is just be honest and transparent about what's happening in society, and just tell us the facts. Because we do know, because of sometimes 1 or 2 phones in their pocket every time, they're getting information that's not always accurate. And they're asking for support from us. Just give us the facts, whether it's good or bad. We want to know we're safe, but we don't want to rely on a lot of this information that is false or rumors. It changes by the second. Just tell us. We're old enough to understand that, and we're the ones that are in these buildings that want to be protected. They continue to advocate, rightfully so, and we have year by year enhanced our supports around mental health and emotional support. We are still looking at additional services like even virtual style mental health support in our buildings, knowing that it's not always easy to get an appointment, so we are increasing that capacity as well. And reassuring that our safety measures will continue to be tested, pushed, and enhanced every single day. You'll hear from Deputy Superintendent Wiese in a second, who will talk about while you talk about a little bit of the property, he's been instrumental in supporting our growth in our safety measures. So what you see here is some of our discussions, and these discussions are purely around safety. I thought I'll give an example of some of the most powerful statements that they've told us. Probably as long back as you were in school too, every month you got up out of your seats and you went outside for a fire drill. And drilled it, and probably if I did a show of hands, probably no one actually had a fire in their building. But if you think about that, 12 years of education, over 10 months of school, you did like 120 of them. Originally, schools only really practice imminent danger drills maybe once or twice a year. And they said, why don't we have the same type of drill preparation and time and planning that we give to fire drills? Because the realities are that school safety or school shootings are far more prevalent than fires in schools. They're absolutely right. And so we have made those adjustments, and we have done additional planning and supports. And some of the additional training that we've put in place, and folks, when I talk about this, I understand, the space that I've only talked about scores a little bit, but you have me talking about safety and things in school, but these are things we have to do in public education to make sure that I send all 6,000 students home safely every single day. And so these are the additional drills that we work in partnership with the city. The city's been great partners with law enforcement, with our emergency responders, and we plan, train, and do this work together. That's tabletop exercises are planned on every single building. Every single building is laid out differently, so we do that at every spot. And under Mr. Wiese's leadership there, we've trained every staff member on EpiPen and Narcan use. We do stop the bleeding training drills to, in the case of emergency, being able to address in the moment. And then, as I just mentioned, our students have enhanced us with more prevalent and more frequent safety drills. So I'm going to quickly talk about planning for the future. Excuse me, Mr. Wiese will do so. This will include some additional property purchases that we have made, knowing that we are continuing to be a growing district, and we're proud of such, and we don't want to wait until our schools are fully at capacity before we are planning to have property available for potential sites later. And so with that, I'll turn it over to Mr. Wiese.
Thanks, Dr. Clardy. I think I've only got a couple slides, so I won't bother with the clumsiness of mixing up microphones here. Last year, when I had a chance to present to this group, we were happy to announce that we had purchased a 60-acre parcel of land off of Lacey Road in Fitchburg. As Dr. C mentioned, we are the Verona area school district. About a third of our students come from Fitchburg every day, and as part of the complexities related to busing everyone home after school. And only about 13–14% of the available seats that we have for students are in the city of Fitchburg. So there's an imbalance there, meaning we are busing students into the city of Verona each day because we don't have enough school seats at the two sites we have. And in planning for the future, we spend $4 million a year on busing, and part of that is from the decisions made through the generations for a variety of reasons in terms of where we place schools. And we've made a collective effort here over the last couple of years to plan for our growing school district. And some of the growth will happen in Verona, some will happen in the townships outlined in the map that Dr. Clardy saved and shared with all of you, but a lot of that growth will also happen in Fitchburg. So we've been working with our board, including Christopher here, over the last year to continue to plan for that growth and purchase an additional property that we just wanted to make sure was on everyone's radar today. These were some of the values that we made sure we put out to the public and certainly to our school board related to the purchase of that property. This was a tricky purchase. We ended up purchasing a chunk of land that was essentially across the street from Target in Fitchburg. And if you're familiar with that area, there aren't a whole bunch of vacant 15–20 acre lots there. And we ended up working with several property owners to put together a piece of property that we eventually will be able to put an elementary school Big pieces that we worked on with our school board really was the fact that it's our belief in heavy areas of student population that it is a benefit to have a neighborhood school. A school you can walk to, a school you can go and enjoy the park outside. If there is an issue with your son or daughter, you can walk to school and not have to worry about transportation to go there. And we ended up finding a spot here in Fitchburg, and this is the area I mentioned. So again, Target, right about here, there's the map for Target. And that little red flag is the lot we ended up acquiring in the city of Fitchburg. And again, I think this is a lesson in some regards to master city planning exercises. That the multi-family apartment buildings that have been there 40 or 50, 60 years used to be barren farm field. And the appropriate planning, in my opinion, didn't happen at that time, knowing that that was going to be a heavy concentration of school-age students. That area by itself will pick up an additional 62 students just in the next 10 years. Right now, there are almost 600 elementary school-age students that live within walking area of that site that we acquired. All 600 every day hop on a bus and head on into Verona, and they've been doing it for 30 or 40 years. Eventually, when we build that elementary school, the majority of those students will have the ability to walk to a school, just like many of their peers are doing here in the city of Verona. So we're excited about that. We're excited about the fact that our school board worked with us closely and very much supported the fact that we bought that land. And we've got a capacity update we'll present to the board here in May that will give us a little more exact timeline on when there's a possibility of us building at that site. But now we own 2 pieces of property in Fitchburg, and feel like we're really set up for the next 15 or 20 years in our school district. And certainly I think Dr. C and I are available for questions on that once Dr. Clardy gets done.
Thank you, John. All right, I'm going to close here, but also we've done a lot of celebrating. We've talked about our goal. We're also very honest and transparent that we are not a perfect system yet, but we continue to strive to do so. And so we just finished our family surveys and our student surveys, and they gave us really good feedback on areas that they would like us to continue to grow as an organization. Some of it was with communication consistency and timeliness, and it wasn't, just for clarification, it was more specifically about my individual student's performance. How do I understand how my child is doing? You know, we're doing pretty good with like all mass. You probably just got a mass text from me 20 minutes ago saying no more after school. So that's not the messaging that they were talking about. In the moment, how do I have a better access to how my specific child is doing, and grades, and how we continue to partner together. Advanced learning continues to be an area of growth with our advanced learning programs. Like, how do we ensure that our advanced learners have access to resources and supports, and that we have multiple students in advanced learning tracks. Grading homework policies is more specific, probably more to the high school, where there's still some our way of thinking about retake policies and the way that grading works. We're really trying to consider does this best support the overall growth of students as they enter college or to the workforce, and really just taking some deeper looks at that. So we do have a community that we started to be able to look at that a little bit deeper. And then lunch, recess, and nutritional concerns. And that was there specifically on our category of wellness, where it's lunch items and nutritional items. If our food service department does a very good job of following USDA guidelines, but as we learn more about nutrition and what we put into our bodies and how that impacts those students' ability to learn and to grow and affects their overall performance, we're taking some deeper considerations through the work of our wellness team of looking at food options, doing better samples, doing some items that maybe it's a little bit hard to get teens and used to eat, but the more and more you put in front of them, and those more nutritional options, I think the better acclimated they will get. Recess is just not, they don't want less, it's just how do we build more time for movement and breaks within our school day as well. So definitely areas that we continue to work and support, and I think we're on the right track. I want to close here, and I apologize if I missed anybody on this list when we were trying to do gratitude, but we always want to recognize that we are a full community, and none of us does this individually. There's never one person, never one individual. We are a full community that loves and embraces public education, and we never want to take that for granted, and knowing that everyone that you see here on the screen and beyond is part of that deep partnership. So thank you for your service to the Verona Mayor School District. Thank you for the honor of allowing me to serve as superintendent, and I'll close here now to open up for any questions. You've been a great audience, and I appreciate it. Thank you. It wasn't great snow time listening. Yes.
So, before my time on the school board, and maybe you know this history, but the school district did attempt to site a school near the area that you purchased in Fitchburg. You've heard that history. So
I believe a few attempts were made to try to avoid the problem.
yeah, there was a big outcry. At that time, a Wingra stone quarry was operating. There was a big uproar about the safety of students, so that idea was dropped. So the school district was not clueless at that point about locating.
No question.
Locating in that area, you know, it's happenstance, as you said, over the generations. But that was the plan at that, probably, I'm guessing around 1990, early 90s perhaps. Yep. But those things happen.
Yes, they do. We're happy we finally got it done.
Yep.
Just a quick question on where you guys at with like trade-specific education right now with students that are heading in that direction. I want a little bit more information on that as far as career paths and all stuff with it.
Yeah, so we did grow our youth apprenticeships this year by a pretty good number. We still want to get it bigger. We have a full-time person in place now by the name of Jenna Johnston that works directly with any community partners or business that are interested in youth. We're trying to expand it. We have a lot of construction. We have welding, and the crafts are trying to get into cosmetology and some other areas as well. You can either contact me directly, and I'll put you in contact with Jenna, or her name is Jenna Johnston with the T at the back of it, and she does direct supports for youth apprenticeship opportunities. And we do have students that we are encouraging and definitely are interested in going straight into the workforce training.
Appreciate it. I'll touch base with you.
With that new school, kind of being in that section of Fitchburg, how will the sort of the lines get redrawn with who goes to that school? In terms of like finding?
Yeah, so that's one. Now that we have the property, that'll be part of how we present, probably in referendum form to our community. Like, here's some options at boundaries. So I don't have it'll look exactly like this. Yeah, we definitely need community input of what really works best in terms of making sure that it's accessible, and that we make sure that, we don't want to move too many, but also there's not an expectation that everyone that lives in that exact population, in that exact community, goes to that school, but a large percentage should. Yeah. Because we are trying to keep it as walkable as possible.
So the bullet point on the bottom of one of your slides had stated that there were a couple of different sites that were cited for a new elementary school, one in Verona, and obviously the one in Fitchburg. Is the one in Verona kind of tabled for now because the one in Fitchburg will allow other students to be able to fill in with the existing buildings, or where is that at?
Yeah, I guess it would be, especially with a board member in the room, we wouldn't want to have that work. So part of our long-range planning process will be to consider all of our options. Now we own technically 3 pieces of property. One, I think we're probably holding for the next high school.
Yep.
And Dr. Clardy and I will be retired, probably gray and bent over at the groundbreaking for that, but it will happen someday. So I think we would have to put together a detailed timeline on exactly, I think, 2 things prior to eventually asking voters for permission to build the schools. We need to know what attendance boundaries likely look like at either site, and we have to determine what site we would actually build on. So we've got two viable options right now, but community input and in the end, a board vote would be required for us to decide where it's going.
Okay,
Yep.
thanks.
So all 3 are in play right now, which is
Okay.
a good thing to have.
Yep.
With the potential of the new school or the growing demand for the TWE program, the two-way immersion program, is there any talk of the future expansion of that to either another school or, those classrooms are much bigger in some schools than the monolingual classes. And so the support for those and just the demand of the program.
Correct, both the support, and we're also looking at, especially as we look at the large numbers of students that are having to go into one middle school site, also looking at our Fishburne campuses with Stoner Prairie and Savannah Oaks to make sure that we don't want programming by address in our district, so that those are spaces where we're looking at probably going next with additional two-way immersion programming. All right.
So, I read this morning that there was a new report out regarding student deficits in scores recuperating from COVID.
Did you see where we were?
I did not. They didn't, there was no detail, so I want to know.
You gotta go to the second paragraph. It's the NPR report you're talking about, right? Yeah, so the
Right.
NPR report just came out that showed across the nation, there are only 100 schools in the whole nation that have recovered from pre-pandemic scores. Verona Mayor School District was one of those 100 across our nation.
Madison.com story I read was totally inadequate. It just talked about Madison being way behind. And I didn't see any detail.
Oh, I got the right details.
Good.
Very nice little media story for us. I came in last night and I was looking at weather reports, so yeah, we got it. We're very proud of it. One of 3 schools and one of 3 districts in Wisconsin that made it on the list. Cedarburg and one other one.
I think that story mentioned Waukesha. It's the only district they mentioned.
All right, I don't want to take up too much time. We have a ton of speakers, and I also want to extend my apologies to take my team to deal with this on the outside, so please excuse our absence as we head out, but thank you all for being a phenomenal audience. Please talk to me.
Thank you. We always appreciate the school district coming out, and they're a wonderful partner of ours as well. And next up, we are going to do a brief little snippet of what the chamber has done this year. We've been very busy over the last year, and this marks my 10th year as executive director, and it's been a long, winding, but very rewarding journey for me. In those years, I've been very blessed to have an amazing staff. They have helped me bring my ideas to life, but certainly provided enough of their own wonderful ideas. We are a well-meshed team, and I'll introduce them to you in just a minute. But it's truly a team with an eye on providing benefits to not only our members, but offering the community a growing list of family-oriented events, and the result is a synergy of its own between the businesses and the families that live here. Our chamber facilitates 50+ events per year, not including ribbon cuttings and groundbreakings. That is an amazing amount of events for a staff of our size to put on. So we're very pleased that we're able to accomplish that all year. The events that we put on for our members are our monthly networking lunches, our social networking happy hours, our professional development programs, our annual golf outing, and especially events like the Epic Tour and the Mega Mixer. The Mega Mixer this year, we invited 15 surrounding chambers to Verona to see what a gem we have here. We had 399 participants signed up. So this year we're hoping to go over the 400 mark. So anybody who wasn't there last year, you need to sign up, we need 15. So we're very excited about that. We also, I think a lot of people don't actually realize that the chamber facilitates most of the community events that go on in Verona. We handle Hometown Days, the Egg Extravaganza, the Fall Fest, which, by the way, if you were living under a rock this last year, you don't know that our Fall Festival was named one of the top 10 fall festivals in the country. We were up against big cities. I mean, there were festivals all over the country, and we ended up in the top 10. So that was a feather in our cap. We also do Hometown Holidays, which features the tree lighting, which we work with the city on, and the new ice rink at the Century School Park was featured this year. We had a great turnout. We always have local television out to welcome Santa on the fire truck. We do Reindeer Live, Main Street trick-or-treating, concerts in the park, and now Hometown Brew Down. And when I started, one of my primary goals was to make sure that any community event in Verona, that all families, no matter what level of income they had, were able to come out and their children were able to experience the exact same thing that any other family could do. And I'm very proud to say that all of these events are free to the public, with the exception of food and beverage, and the carnival at Hometown Days. Okay, control that one. But how do we accomplish this? We accomplish this with the generosity of our local businesses sponsoring these. And I think you can see from the slide, we have an overwhelming response to our requests for sponsorships. And our businesses are able to get out in front of the community and show our residents that they support our community in a lot of different ways. So we're very thankful for that. And then also I want to acknowledge all of our partners. We have a great partnership with the city and the police department and the fabulous, fabulous Parks Department. Love them. Can't talk enough about them. And we also have a great partnership with the school district and also with our surrounding communities, town of Verona, and all of the other communities that come in. Allison, tourism coordinator, will talk a little bit about the Sugar River partnership that we have. So we're all working together. What makes one community great, if we help each other, we're all better off. So we're very proud of those partnerships. Now I'd like to introduce my team. So you guys, I think, are all in the back. We'll start off with Amy Abbott, our office manager. Molly Salee, our communications and marketing director. Allison Plumer, our tourism coordinator. Mona Cassis, our special events coordinator. And Mimi Murphy, our partnership and outreach. And all of these employees are part-time. So that tells you how much they have accomplished in the short amount of time they are actually working for you. So they are amazing. Also, I'd like to recognize my board of directors. My executive committee is President Cassie Gorski of Big Apple Learning, Vice President Mark Hewitt of Hewitt Real Estate, Secretary Jason Hunt, Verona Vision Care, Treasurer Craig Schmidt, Lake Ridge Bank, Past President Wendy Jersa, One Community Bank, Corey Bott, Summit Credit Union, Dr. Tremayne Clardy, Verona Area School District, Charlie Egan, Holiday Inn Express and Suites, Tammy Fanning, Capital Bank, Jason Geiger, Geiger Realtors, Sarah Host, Hop House Brewing, Ken Kwan, North and South Seafood and Smokehouse, and Tara Osterholz of Verona Chiropractic. And we have several of them here today if you want to raise your hands. And I would not be able to do my job without the support they give me, so I'm very thankful for that, and thanks for keeping me around. Now I'd like to turn it over to Allison Plumer, my tourism coordinator, and she's going to give a brief presentation on what we do, because many of you may not know we handle the tourism contract for the city of Verona, and then we'll get right on into the city of Verona and town of Verona's presentations. Thank you.
I am Allison Plumer, like we just said, the tourism coordinator for Verona, and today I'm just going to give you a real quick overview of Visit Verona, which is the tourism side of the chamber. It's kind of my department. And we manage the Verona's destination marketing as well as the city's visitor center. So for those of you who don't know exactly how that works, tourism marketing is funded by a hotel room tax and it's regulated by state statute. So we have a very specific set of guidelines that I work within in order to promote Verona as a destination. So quick overview, our lodging facilities and hotels in Verona collect a room tax. That funding is then given to the city, who retains 30% of that funding. The remaining 70% is the part that's regulated for tourism marketing. Under the tourism marketing arm, we have a few partners. So you'll see that our current allocation, and I should mention the tourism portion of it is overseen by a commission that is a city board. So that commission currently allocates 17% of that funding to our Destination Madison and the Madison Area Sports Commission. They are really key partners of ours since we're in close proximity to them and we fall within the greater Madison area, which they promote in a number of different ways throughout the year. We also benefit from large citywide events that Madison hosts, things like the World Dairy Expo, Ironman, the CrossFit Games when that was here. All of those events bring people, drive people out into our community as well as into Madison. So they do important work with a big budget that we benefit from when we align with them in our own marketing efforts. And then 74% of the funding is then allocated to the Visit Verona, which is the Destination Marketing Organization, or DMO, for the city. We manage things like the Visit Verona website, our print guide, which we first published last year in 2024. our social media channels, as well as a sponsorship program that is a big part of what I manage, and then other conferences and marketing efforts that help to bring people to the community. The remaining funds are withheld for a reserve fund that can be used for development projects and things like that. This is a quick highlight of the important, the key things that I do. As I mentioned, our partnerships are particularly important to us. Travel Wisconsin, Destination Madison, the Sports Commission, the Sugar River Valley, which is a co-op I founded in 2023 with Mount Horeb, New Glarus, and Paoli for us to do most of our regional marketing for leisure travelers. We work together to amplify our message and bring people to the broader region to help generate longer overnight stays and get people to extend their time here. Digital and print, again, we have the kind of key baseline ways that we can interact with people and let them know what's here for them to explore. And so we do that through website, our print visitor guide, social media, and then other resources that are found within our visitor center, maps, things like that. So any publications, we procure those and then help to distribute them. Signature stories is kind of how we describe what Verona is. If people are coming here, what can they find here? And these are the key stories that have been identified by Travel Wisconsin and Destination Madison that we look to align with, so that our message, again, is not only promoted by us here, but also by the work that those bigger destination marketing organizations are doing. So if Travel Wisconsin is talking about urban outdoor, we want to talk about urban outdoor and explain why people want to explore that in Green Bay, La Crosse, but also come to Verona and see what it is that we have available that aligns with that story. So those are kind of some of the key things that we are working on. Getting information, landing pages, blogs, other content out in the media that so people can find out what we have that is of interest and meets one of the current travel trends. Events and experiences is a really probably one of the biggest pieces of what I do. Our sponsorship program supports anywhere between 40 and 60 different events that are held in Verona every year by outside organizations. We can help encourage those event organizers to choose Verona over another destination by providing them support with hotel room blocks, funding for venue fees, visitor information, and hospitality that helps make the experience here great and makes people want to come back and see us again. We have been able to attract some really fantastic events. This coming weekend, we have a statewide swim championship that's being held at the high school. That's voted on, the location of that, by the coaches. So people across the state know they want to come here because we host a great event. The Dairyland Sports Organization, I know Stephanie's here. They have brought some just fantastic events to Verona. They host the Dairyland Games. It's going to have its third year here in May, and they host para-athletes from around the country that are now coming here to compete and have an opportunity to showcase their talent in a way that they can't, there aren't a lot of opportunities to do. So we're super proud that they are partnering with us here in Verona for not only that, now also the Mad City Wheelchair Basketball Tournament will also have its third year here in December of 25. So those are the types of things that we are looking to continue to build and grow with our tourism marketing efforts. And then engagement and awareness. It's important that we continue to look for ways to get the word out there. So whether that's earned media, stories like the Alice Good mural, there was a great story in a number of publications that talked about the owner's connection to Columbia, things they're doing for sustainability, and also the connection that the artist had to that piece of work. So helping to sponsor that opportunity for that artist to come created a lot of press and interest in Verona. And so if you haven't gone to check it out, definitely do that. And so any opportunities like that where we can work with specialty interest groups or businesses that are doing something unique and interesting, and again help just amplify a reason for people to come to Verona is what we're looking for. And then finally, just the data piece of it. We work with, again, our travel partners at Travel Wisconsin, Destination Madison, and the Sugar River Valley to obtain data each year, monthly, where we look at, what kind of impact is this actually having? And it's a big one. We had over 111,000 visitors this last year in 2024, over 25,000 visit nights, so people stay on average a little over 2 nights. And the estimate based on tourism economics spend estimates is over $45 million in impact. So all of those hockey tournaments, soccer tournaments, swim meets, they're creating a lot of spend in our community for both lodging as well as restaurants, retail. And so the more that we can continue to encourage those people to come here, the better again it is for the whole community. So you can see we kind of have a sense of where people are coming from, and that's partially because our partners, again, are marketing to those areas. Chicago and Minneapolis and Milwaukee are our biggest origin markets. That's where people are coming, and that's where we're advertising and telling people to come here and what they can expect to find when they arrive. And then, again, just looking at some what year over year is impacting why people come. So just for an example, November of last year was a big positive 20% increase. The NCAA National Cross Country Championships were held at Blue Ridge this past November. So that was 2 weeks worth of people from all across the country coming, staying, eating, buying gas, and that makes, again, a big impact. So that's kind of the highlights of Visit Verona. And so if anyone has any questions or wants more information, I'm happy to talk. My cards and our print guide are out at the registration table, so if you haven't seen it, take a look, and always love to hear your thoughts and feedback. So thank you.
Now I would like to turn it over to Mayor Diaz, and we'll get started with the city.
All right, I'll talk fast since there's been a lot of speakers already. My name is Luke Diaz. I'm the current mayor of the city of Verona. I do an intro to the city portion of the program. I just want to talk real quick about 4 of my big priorities to kind of give context to some of the slides you're going to see and give you an idea of the direction that the city's going to be moving in the next year. If you ever heard me talk, you're not going to be surprised about my first priority. It's about fiscal responsibility. Ultimately, the city is limited in the way we can raise revenue. There's not always a lot of help coming from the state, so we have to be really fiscally responsible. We do this in 2 ways. One, limiting the amount of money we borrow year over year. Ultimately, as you know, if you borrow money, you have to pay it back. And between the principal and interest, that can be really a big drag on the budget. And we also have to just be careful on how we spend money generally. I've been in meetings with elected officials where we're scrutinizing, literally hundreds of dollars of expenses to make sure that we really need to be spending this money and being responsible with the public's money. And not to brag, but I think it's really paid off. The city of Verona is in good financial shape. I just want to keep it up. Another big priority for me is environmental sustainability. We are all citizens of this earth, and I believe we have a responsibility to leave the planet in a little bit better shape than we found it. I would also point out that a lot of environmental initiatives have good secondary effects that are just generally beneficial to society or fiscally. For example, if you put up solar panels, it will generate a modest amount of return on investment. So even if you don't care about the reduction of fossil fuel use, it makes sense from a revenue perspective. My third priority is meeting the demand for housing. The economy, at least in Verona and Dane County, is pretty good. And that means that there's more jobs, which means there's more of a demand for housing. You might look around the city and see all the different developments going up with all the housing and think, well, are developers building too much housing? It's the opposite. We're not building enough. And I know that might sound wild to say, but I don't think we're keeping up with demand. And whether you're looking at single-family homes, apartments, duplexes, townhomes, they're all filling up. And so it's clear that we're going to be seeing more housing get built in the city of Verona in the future. That leads me to my fourth priority, which is keeping our sense of community even as we grow. The city of Verona has changed a lot, perhaps even more than it ever has in the last, let's say, 10 years than it has in its history. And I think we want to kind of keep our sense of community even as we get bigger. One aspect of this is building out community spaces, like the Century School Park, and working with community partners like the Chamber to make sure we're hosting community events, which can be common cultural touch points and just community gathering spaces. And I also think another part of this, at least from the city's perspective, is keeping up good customer service. And I was so thrilled to hear the praise for the Parks Department, because that's really important to me. But as cities get bigger, you have to streamline stuff a little bit. But I don't want to get so big that we get impersonal, that we just kind of, we're brushing people off. I want to be able to be flexible, creative, and responsive to the people that we represent. But anyways, those are my four priorities, amongst other ones. As always, if you have any questions or comments for me, I'll be around after the program, or my contact information is up on the website. But with that, I will turn it over right now to Mr. Aulik, our City Administrator.
Just a quick introduction. My name is Jamie Aulik. I'm the City Administrator of the City of Verona. Hometown USA, right? You gotta love it. It's awesome. I tell my wife, repeatedly, probably weekly, Verona is where my time goes to die. So it is a busy place to be, as we all know, but in all the best ways, I think, in the big scheme of things. So one thing I wanted to say, though, Mr. Mayor, I think our snow budget isn't doing so hot. Fiscal responsibility is being tested right now, so all good, all good. So here are our elected representatives, alderpersons. So we have 4 aldermanic districts and 2 per district. So that's how Verona is broken out for elected representation. And then, we just got past that time of the year, didn't we? Tax bills. So for a Verona resident, this is what you're gonna see for your breakout for the various units of government that you pay property taxes towards. So about a little over 50% goes to the school district. MATC, 3.9, Dane County, 16.1, City of Verona, 25.4. I will tell you, this is pretty normal. This is, in most cities, this is what you're gonna see. 50, 25, 25 is kind of how I always thought of it. 50% school district, 25% city, 25% county technical college. So this is actually pretty common. So as far as those percentages go. For expenditures now we're just talking the 25% of the city of Verona, okay? What we do at the city. These are the various general, this is like general accounting up in front of you here, ways that we spend money. So you'll see like a general fund transfer there. That's money coming out of the residual money that we had in prior years and then putting it towards capital outlay. There's public safety. I am going to the Verona Police Department Citizens Academy tonight. I've been your city administrator for almost 2 years. Hopefully it'll be, almost 3 a year from now. But I volunteered to get tased. I am that person. All right. Hopefully I make it out. So anyway, that's actually a very educational program. I think it's occurring over the next 8 Wednesdays. But they're going to be doing that more and more as we go along here. So look for that. But it's really, really neat to see what the police department actually does, and that's what that Citizens Academy is truly for. It's an educational opportunity. Pepper spray. I used to, in the Army, eat pepper spray for lunch. I am a chemical weapons guy, so anyway. So public safety. This is actually also very common where you see the 50% of expenditures in a city towards public safety, so law enforcement, fire, EMS, and public works. Those basic functions, right? You dial 911, you need someone to show up, right? So this is pretty common as far as spending goes. And then you have, of course, your other general government administration, planning and development, parks and rec. So this is pretty normal as far as how these are all split out. Here is Verona in a nutshell. So, I grew up in the city of Manitowoc. And I have this thing about populations. I can memorize populations like nobody's business. 32,547. Population of Manitowoc in 1980. Population of Manitowoc in 2020. This one I don't have memorized, I moved out. 34,626. So in 40 years, it grew 2,079 people. Sheboygan, in the same 40 years, 1,844 in 40 years. Verona. I always like a good challenge, right? Look at that slope. Over the last 4 years, we're averaging about 800 people per year moving into the city. All that development that you see around, the multifamily out on PD, etc., over by Epic, the Arden Glen, etc., all of that is contributing to the growth. So you're either growing or you're dying. That's an old saying when it comes to units of government. Better to be in this position than those positions, right? So that's what really makes Verona a good, vibrant community. Now, does it cause issues? We'll get into traffic in a little bit, but yes, it does. However, it's a very, like I say, there's a lot of good ideas flowing around the community. A place like Verona is a place where you want to live, work, and play, truly. So 16,357. I didn't look at the slide, I promise. Net new construction, all this cumulative value. Now, net new construction nets out any sort of like renovations or what have you. This is organic growth. This is like holes in the ground, new residential, new commercial, and apparently we have a software company that likes to put a lot of holes in the ground over on the west side of town. So that all contributes to net new construction. So this is organic growth. Typically, you get outside of the, I call it the Dane County bubble. This is going to be 0.5%, 1% in a really good growing community outside of Dane County, maybe 2, 5.3. The highest percentage in Dane County for net new construction. You should give yourselves a hand. Seriously. That's impressive. So that's what we've got going on. Now, when you have that kind of growth going on, what happens is there's more value within the community to pay taxes, right? So, you know, if we're not borrowing money, we're being fiscally responsible, like the mayor says, right? Our tax rate is actually going down over time. Now, your home, if you live in the city of Verona, is not the same value or assessment as it would have been in 2013 or 2014 or whatever. Those are going up, but over time, if you were to look at like a Middleton or a Fitchburg or someone comparable, DeForest, that we're the only city in the fours like that. So they're in 5s and 6s. So for every $100,000 of property value, they're paying an extra $100 as that goes up to 5 and 6. No, yeah. So anyway, the city taxes in other communities are higher over time. In other communities, but ours are dropping. Let's take a look at where we're headed here, like the mayor's priorities. We want to make sure that we're keeping good employees and have the capability to recruit. Also, we got projects, plans, initiatives like sustainability and road construction. I'll give you a quick update on that. So, let's see here. So we have Ann, you want to raise your hand? A new assistant city administrator, Ann. Brand new position. We were talking about the various growing pains that we have, and it was actually the mayor who brought up, hey, I think it's time that we think about an assistant position for the city administrator. So that was part of this year's budget. This is our third day. So throwing her right into the wolves. We also have, as we know, a senior population that continues to grow. So as far as programming is concerned and things like that, we added an assistant senior center director there. Also, an assistant EMS chief for Verona. Our park system continues to be more and more robust. Century School Park, isn't that a gem on West Verona Avenue? Wow, that is an impressive park. People are out there skating, we're getting our rentals going and things like that, so that's pretty cool. And then we're adding, as you would imagine, as the population grows, we have more demand for services like police officers, fire, EMS, so we're adding as we go. Also, retention, we're in the middle of a compensation study. You gotta keep up with the Joneses if you want good people working for you. Dane County has a competitive job market, so we're doing a compensation study to make sure that we're in line with our neighbors. And year to year, we do a cost of living adjustment. So there's that. Sustainability. We do think about the future here in Verona. And we have a great sustainability task force that's organized as a city committee to start thinking about ways that we can do better at sustainable practices. So solar panels on that pavilion where you get the ice skates from or have concerts, it's got solar panels on top. Also, we have a Ford Lightning that we bought last year for the parks. And then this year, we're doing a solar panel project, which we just put out for requests for proposals, and we're gonna do about $50,000 worth of solar panels. There's also things like lighting in the lobby at City Hall. The building inspector vehicle, we have an EV, Chevy Equinox, and an associated charger. So we're really thinking hard about the ways that we make equipment and vehicle purchases at the city. Number of park improvements, at Epic Park, which is a park near Epic, obviously. It's getting a shelter and bathroom. We're also putting in a fishing pier and kayak launch for ADA compliant one at Fireman's Park. Also the splash pad, replacing that. At Scenic Ridge Park, we're doing a resurfacing project. And then we also have the park tree program, which is abatement of emerald ash borer. If we take a tree down, we replace it with something new and diverse, native trees. That's the key. If you don't want your entire canopy wiped out with one infestation, you need to diversify, and we take that very seriously. And lastly, we're continuing to install security cameras as we have the money to do it in parks. Public safety, you'll see the various things. A lot of this has to do with radio replacements, other tech. The ambulances literally just arrived here at Verona EMS. That's out oftentimes like 2 years on ambulances and stuff like that. Road construction, this is where thankfully no one has tomatoes or lettuce or anything to throw at me. So a lot of this is going on the west side of town. The interchange at G and 151 is getting redone, and that is to help alleviate the traffic to Epic. So there's going to be kind of a western entrance, and that's really what a lot of this has to do with. Country View Road there, the third bullet, is getting redirected towards that interchange. In the middle of town, we have Legion Street in West Verona. We're doing a signalized intersection. I was talking about that with someone earlier, about how it's hard to get across Legion Street in Verona. We're installing signals there, and a right turn lane. You see the other ones, Shady Oak Lane is up by Epic, Arden Glen and MMSD, they're doing water sewer mains, road reconstruction. McKee Road and Harvest Moon Trail. Harvest Moon Trail is the first left as you go west off County M and PD. So there's multifamily apartments going in there, so that's what that is. And then Paoli and Valley Road, SSM project, they're doing utility installations and road reconstruction to accommodate SSM, who wants to put a clinic just south of 151 there. So that's all I have for the moment, and I'll key it up for Lucas Sivertsen, our Planning and Development Director.
I think we've blown right past all of our time, so I've got a lot to cover. I'll try and go through this quickly. If anyone has any questions, just let me know, and I can kind of fill you in and some of the details later. But I'm going to be talking about, starting off with our residential development in town. As the mayor said previously, there's lots of development happening in the town from a residential perspective. It's still not enough. We're not keeping up with the demand in the Dane County area, which is why some of the housing prices are getting higher and higher. Thank you. So starting off, Ardent Glen, this project was approved in 2023. This is a Viridian Home project. They've got other projects going on in the city as well. This is just north of Highway PD on the west side. One of the unique things about this project is they utilize alleys, and this is not totally uncommon to the region, but it is a little bit unique to our local area. The benefit of alleys, it brings garages off the street, so you're not seeing alleys. It also allows for a little bit narrower lots, so a better use of land. One of the other unique features of Ardent Glen, it takes the floodplain and wetlands in that site, and instead of using them as a barrier or a constraint, actually uses them as an amenity to the site. So that's, as it continues to build out, you're going to see that as being a better amenity for just the residents and the community as a whole. They are in phase 3B right now, looking to start phase 4 here in the spring. As I've mentioned, they're also working on project Woods at Cathedral Point. That project is pretty much complete at this point. All the permits have been issued. They're just going through construction. Another project is highly visible. If you go along County M and PD, I'm sure you've seen lots of cranes and construction out there over the past year. This is the Apex at Verona project. Primarily multifamily. However, there are some townhome components which are kind of further off of the street that you can't necessarily see. Also some stacked flats components. So one of the boards and the Planning Commission's goals was to provide a little diversity in housing. Multifamily is very popular. It's economical to build, but also providing some variety of home ownership and rental types. So they're doing some townhomes and some stacked flats, which is essentially a townhome, but instead of being side by side, it's stacked on top of each other. Another project that's been going on, Whispering Coves. This was approved several years ago, and we're working through some of the phase 1 improvements. This site and a couple other sites in the city have a lot of very complex stormwater management systems. Essentially all the stormwater in this site drains to the central area. And so if you're going to build on top of that site, you need to pump all that water out. A lot of infrastructure is needed for that. So it is a very complicated site to build on. Fortunately, phase 1 is getting very close to being completed. We're seeing a lot more activity out there in recent past. Another project which also has lots of constraints with stormwater. This is Avalon Ridge. This was approved in 2023, actually, that particular developer. There's a lot of other projects going on, and with just the complexity of stormwater system and designing that and figuring out how to pay for it, that's delayed this project a little bit. But they have recently re-engaged the city and are looking to start this project up, hopefully, in the spring. 1015 North Edge Trail. Some of you that have been around for a while may have remembered there was a project approved at this site several years ago because of just various issues, financing being one of them. That project did not move forward. Another developer picked it up, North Point Development. They do primarily affordable housing type projects, so that's their goal here. And with affordable housing, it does provide or does require funding from a lot of different sources. And so they're working through how to get this project funded right now. This is 100% single-family development, Kettle Creek North. A lot of you are probably familiar with this. This has been going on for several years. It's been built out very steadily. In this particular development, the developer is putting in the infrastructure and then selling the lots to individual builders. So this is different than some of the other development sites that I talked about, Viridian and Apex. So in this particular project, developers building it and then selling those lots to different homeowners, which adds to, you know, kind of different character of the homes. Sugar Creek Commons, this was completed, the third building, you probably noticed if you drive along West Verona Avenue. Sugar Creek Commons, they got two larger multi-family mixed-use buildings. This is the development pictured here, which was completed last year. That's 100% multifamily. So that's adding, it was added additional 141 apartment units to the city, and they're currently working on leasing the building out. We talked about our aging population. Azura is another development in town, be primarily memory care and assisted living. This was completed kind of late last year, and that's being occupied. This is just north and east of the high school, also very visible from West Verona Avenue. With our commercial development, a lot of this is going to be Epic, but I'll talk about some of the other projects we have going on in the Tech Park as well as Liberty Park. Epic is working on Campus 6 at this point. They've got a huge below grade, as with most of their parking, it's all below grade. I believe it's a 4-story below grade parking garage, which I've been in development for a long time. I've never actually seen a 4-story below grade parking garage, 2 or 3 stories, but not 4 stories. Very big engineering undertaking. They're also have approved for 5 office buildings and 1 more of this cafeteria or food service building to serve just that campus. Now, I could spend lots of time on this, but I was kind of going through some of the representative architecture. If you're a sci-fi buff, you probably will recognize some of these, some of the themes and some of the movies and books you've read. But yeah, just really unique architecture, almost kind of Disney-esque. This is, oh yeah, so going back, floating, no, sorry. Yes, this is actually the food service building, Underhill. So it's actually built below grade. There's a green roof. You can say they've got trees going. So really, the great thing about Epic's campus is they've really pushed a lot of the infrastructure below grade, allow a lot more open space on their campus, which helps with stormwater. One of the other commercial projects in our tech park is Wisconsin Brewery is expanding. So that's exciting. They've got a couple different phases planned. This particular project was approved just in January of this year for a 15,000 square foot warehouse building. That's the current phase they're working in. And then future phases include a much larger production facility. So that's kind of the next phase. Also, Liberty Business Park has several projects going on right now. 26,000 square foot flex space is under construction. No tenants named yet for those. And then we also have a personal vehicle storage facility, which is going up lot 5 in Liberty Business Park, and that's under construction. As I understand, they already have lots of people lined up to purchase those spaces. So if you're interested, I would contact them sooner than later. Other projects in the planning process, it was mentioned previously, SSM Health. They are in the process of getting annexed into the city. This project has been under review for quite a while. Again, a complex development. They're needing to extend utilities all the way from north of 18151 all the way south to their property. So quite an engineering undertaking. But they're moving forward with that and getting, I would say, close to finishing their engineering studies, getting to handle on kind of costs, and we'll expect to see some work on that probably late spring, early summer. And again, this is the property that they own, quite a large piece of property. This is the first phase, this 40,000 square foot clinic. Then they also have future phases planned with that, with the additional land further to the west that would likely become some sort of residential, but at this point, it's unclear. The last thing I want to talk about is our comprehensive plan. For those of you who are not familiar with what a comprehensive plan is, essentially lots of organizations have their own kind of master plan or kind of plan looking towards the future. Well, in the state of Wisconsin and most communities across the country, comprehensive plan is a vision for how the future of the city is going to look. And in Verona, a lot of our focus, because we're expanding so quickly, a lot of the focus is on those outer districts or areas of land that are primed for development. So there's going to be a lot of focus on that, but also there needs to be significant focus on what to do with the current city. As cities develop, existing buildings at some point become obsolete, so it's important to have a plan in place to know what to do with those when those uses no longer exist. Businesses might move to another area, so having a plan in place is important to know, to be ready to act when events like that happen. And this plan can't happen in a vacuum. It's for the community, and it needs to involve the entire community. And so as part of that, we'll be doing a lot of public outreach, public engagement. I can talk more about that in a little bit. But I just want to get into some of the timeline. So just starting the process. At this point, we're doing a lot of background information, a lot of internal assembling of the team that's going to be working on this, reviewing past plans, performing data analysis. But this spring, we're planning to have our first public open house. And then later in the fall, we'll start developing ideas based upon what we've heard through the various public input sessions. And then providing recommendations, and hopefully we'll be adopting a final plan probably this time next year. One of the first things that just launched was the project website. It was launched last week. We've already had lots of people take the opportunity to provide comments on the website. So there's a couple different ways you can provide input. You can just write messages. There's also an interactive map, so you can actually go to different neighborhoods, different parts of the town that you love to see and want to make sure are maintained. It also gives the opportunity to kind of point out some parts of the city which are constraints, like parking or traffic, which are common issues. So identifying kind of on the map where you see those constraints or opportunities. So this website will provide that. And the next slide, I'll show a QR code of the site, so you can take a photo and find the site. Otherwise, you can link to the city's main page as well. Also on the site, we're going to have meeting dates, drafts of the plans as they progress, as well as a way to complete surveys and provide input through those interactive maps. So here's the QR code. I believe we have some handouts too, maybe in the back when you came in, it has the QR code on it as well. Yeah, I just want to restate that it's really important to have everyone is engaged in this process as much as they're able. I realize everyone's busy and can spend hours and hours looking through surveys and plans, but I would say whatever opportunity you can provide, especially providing input to your place of, the area around your place of business or your neighborhood, that would be really valuable. And with that, I can answer any questions. Otherwise, if everyone's ready to go, we can wrap it up.
Why don't we let the city take questions while we switch over and get Mark's presentation all set up? So if you have some questions, and then, as they said, they'll be happy. I think they're staying around a little bit for a few questions. And then, always easy to get in touch with all three of these gentlemen.
Yay for the town.
Yay!
Thank you.
Mama's a town resident, so she speaks very highly of the town.
Well, thank you. I certainly appreciate the invite by the chamber to come here today. It's right at the end of the program, so it's still snowing. So I'll make this very brief. I'll go through these slides rather quickly, but I appreciate everybody's time. And my name is Mark Geller. I'm the town chair of the town of Verona. I've lived in Verona since 1987, so my roots are pretty deep here in the community. I've been the chair of the township. I'm in my 5th 2-year term, and I'll be on the ballot in April for my 6th 2-year term. But I want to just kind of go over what the town of Verona is. As I'm out and about, sometimes people don't understand the difference between the town of Verona and the city of Verona. It's the Verona region. But to get started, this is something we go over every month at the town board meeting. Our town of Verona vision is to maintain the town as an independent, financially sustainable, safe, and healthy rural community. And so our guiding principles at the board and as we consider decisions is to create a welcoming and inclusive community, provide efficient services, be fiscally responsible, anticipate and plan for growth, protect and enhance cultural and natural resources, maintain open and transparent government, and coordinate and collaborate with neighboring jurisdictions and key partners. And that's something that we work very hard to do, and we're proud of what we've accomplished there. Again, what is the town? A little history of towns. The town of Verona was established in 1847. And so I put this slide up just to show that all towns throughout the state are laid out on 6-by-6 mile grids. So townships throughout the state all start out with 36 square miles of land. And for the town of Verona, our population right now is 2,442. So I don't have a graph, but our population is certainly on an upward swing. Right now we consist of 23 square miles. We have 966 housing units. We have a mix of residential areas, including rural, suburban, and smaller lot mixed urban. So sometimes people are driving around and maybe don't realize they're in the town of Verona. As you can see from the map, City of Madison, City of Verona grows into the township, and there are sometimes some unusual little islands of the township that remain today. So, for example, Fitchrow Road, Maple Grove, those are some areas that are still in the township. We grew out of our old town hall, which is on North 9 Mountain Road. Since I've been chair, we've built a new town hall because we found that we were completely surrounded by the city. We were driving snowplows out and driving for a quarter mile before we were on the playground. So, but the township is still here, and I'll show you some other maps of some things that we go through, challenges as cities around us grow. But we're very proud of what we offer to the region, to Verona as a whole. Right now, over 12% of the total land in the town is public open space. So that's the largest percentage of any town in Dane County. And 12% of our open space is 1,800 acres of public land that I think adds to the value and makes Verona a destination because of what the town can offer for open space. Town government, we have our own government. It's comprised of a 5-member board, the town chair, and 4 supervisors. And of course, we're all elected. In towns, there aren't really district area designations, but right now I like the fact that our board is made up of supervisors that kind of represent all the different sections of the town. I'm always interested in hearing about town residents' concerns and how they vary depending on where you live in the township. So I'm proud of the fact that the board right now really encompasses all of areas of the township. We have a plan commission, we have a public works committee, a finance committee, and a natural and recreational area committee. And we put together a new comprehensive plan in 2018, worked very hard to make that an inclusive process. We had over 50 public meetings with all of our electors involved to put together our current comprehensive plan. In 2022, we adopted a new land division and development ordinance, which again goes to preserving kind of the rural feel of Verona as a whole. So if there's a larger subdivision in the town of Verona, well, we demand that you have at least 30% of open space within that subdivision. And that typically goes to prairie restoration. Again, it's we've heard from our residents that we really want to keep the rural character of the township. So that's reflected in how our land use plan and our vision of smart growth within the town. I'll mention that we are under Dane County zoning, so everything within the township is subject to Dane County zoning approval. Towns are unique. To me, town government is the purest form of government that remains. Electors, residents have a big part in what they can do. And so specific powers are granted to electors. We have an annual meeting, and residents can come and put binding decisions in front of the board, and the board needs to follow them. That also allows for citizens to suggest different things that they'd like the board to consider, and our annual meetings are always an exciting time. That occurs in April, and so we have one coming up. Electors have voting powers, unlike villages and cities. They can and do approve the levy. So every year I present the budget and the levy, and the electors have to approve it. So it's not simply up to the board. It's everybody who lives in the town has a say to come to a meeting and vote and either approve or deny the levy. At that annual meeting, I present the annual financial statement and kind of the state of town financially. I'm always the first one to point out that the town has zero debt. We operate the township, provide the services we do, and the town has zero debt. Land use in the town of Verona, As you are in the township, you'll see agricultural lands, there's farmland preservation space, and a lot of public open space, as I mentioned. Badger Prairie Park, Prairie Moraine Park, the Scheidegger Forest, Madison School Forest, Sugar River Wildlife Area, Moraine Kettles Preserve, which is right off of M on the south part of the city. And now the former Durst Farm, which is on the southern part of the township off of River Road, 480 acres recently purchased by the county. Natural and recreational resources, again, hope that people come to the community and appreciate the Ice Age Trail, the Military Ridge Trail, the Sugar River for recreation and paddling. The land use in the town includes rural residential, so a little larger lots obviously than city density, but as we plan for that growth within the township, as we develop, those lots are of course getting bought up. And we have some urban residential. Hillside Heights area has some 4 units, 8-unit apartment buildings, and more city-like density. Town Hall, the town board, as I said, I'm Mark Geller, the Plan Commission Chair, Tom Mathias, Dave Lonsdorf, Deb Paul, and Mike Durst. These are all active members of the community and hopefully people that you recognize. Staff, we're a little different for towns in that we have full-time staff. Sarah Gaskell is our administrator planner. Teresa Whitty is our clerk treasurer. Chris Barnes is our public works director. And 1 full-time road patrolman, Mark Judd. And Mark Judd and his crew are busy out there right now. Again, I'm pretty proud of the fact that the town remains debt-free while continuing to provide quality services to residents. We're, the services we provide are a little different from a township. Of course, we provide emergency services, fire protection, garbage pickup, but not the full array of services that you might get if you live in the city. We highlight that we spend a lot of money on our roads. It's the #1 part of our budget, and we continue to save and budget for updated equipment, and we're continually purchasing equipment to maintain our rural roads, which I think everybody enjoys taking a drive out in the country. There are, the town of Verona is part of the region, and we enjoy regional cooperation. We're part of the, we've created with the town of Middleton, the Western Dane County Municipal Court. So we have our own court shared with the town of Middleton. We're part of Fitch-Verona EMS, along with the cities of Verona and Fitchburg. We're part of the Verona Fire Department, and Dane County Sheriff provides safety. We also contract additional time with Dane County to just spend strictly in the township. We're part of the Verona Senior Center to take care of our somewhat elderly population in the township. Land use, we enjoy a boundary agreement with the city, which encourages a shared vision for growth between both municipalities. Transportation and utilities, we invest with our neighbors. Right now, we are working with Fitchburg on a Fitch-Verona Road reconstruction. If you've ever not been able to drive down Fitch-Verona Road because Goose Lake is flooded over, that's been a long time problem. I think we've got a solution for that. Goose Lake improvements include MMSD sewer service in that area. Some of our challenges, we're just part of a township in Dane County that is growing. And by being in a town, cities are allowed to expand into the township. So this is just a little slide. Since 2018, we've lost 940 acres. of town lands. 940 acres is about 1.5 miles, 1.5 square miles of the township. That also means that we lose potential development areas of our own and loss of property taxes. Extraterritorial jurisdiction is just part of life if you're in town government. City of Verona, City of Madison, City of Fitchburg all have ETJ within the township. So this slide, I don't know how easy it is to see, but right now there's a little bit of a red line in the southwest corner of that map that just shows the how far the City of Verona ETJ goes into the township. On the right side of the map, Fitchburg comes into the township. So that just means that we have to work with those municipalities in terms of our own land use planning and what we can do within their ETJs. And I'm trying to move this along pretty quickly. So what we contribute as a township to the area, of course the Ice Age Trail is very important to us, and terminal moraine, the dog park right in our backyard here. In fact, right now we're in the township of Verona. But the other thing that that we contribute is, of course, our rural roads. The Ironman course goes through many miles of the township. Sugar River, of course, lots of paddling on the Sugar River. All of the Dane County parklands that I mentioned, and just the visual beauty and vistas of the township. I'll say that if we are here at the town hall, my little bit of a stale line is if you come out to the town and look at the vista out our back window, we're a little town with an epic view. With that, I ran through that pretty quickly.
I was not aware of how town government works, so that was a big thing. I didn't know that people wanted to tell us what to do. Tell us what to tell you what to do. So that's interesting. Do you have any questions for Mark? And as I said, all of these presentations will be available later, so you can look through the slides at your own leisure. And all of our presenters have said they're more than willing for you to reach out and talk to them about something that pops into your head later, or after you get home from the snowy drive and you think, you should ask that. I would like to thank everyone for coming out today. I know this program was a little bit longer than we had anticipated, but you know, it's all good information. And thank you for coming out. Thank you for Resurrection Lutheran Church for hosting us, and for Pastor Paul with all his help with the AV, and also to all of our presenters for giving us such great presentations. And thank you to Mara, who's going to be making sure that you can see this later on. So thank you very much.